A high-speed network, rail network, basically creates a large economy. For example, I'll give the example of Tokyo to Osaka. When you move from Tokyo to Osaka, Tokyo, Nagoya, Kobe, Kyoto, and Osaka. These 5 economies, they become one large economy. It's not 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. It becomes 1 plus 1 plus 1, 111. It's a multiplier effect. Because a person who is a component manufacturer in Kobe can then go to Nagoya and sell the components to Toyota. A person who is a designer sitting in Kyoto can very rapidly interact with the people who are manufacturers in Osaka. That's the thinking which we need to understand why high-speed railway is so important. There are critics who would look at the cost and who would say that no, our country is better off doing something else. No, the multiplier impact of a high-speed rail needs to be seen at the conceptual level first. First, we need to understand that as a concept. So, when we develop the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed corridor, and in subsequent future there will be many more such corridors, what we are doing in essence is we are connecting Mumbai, Thane, Vapi, Baroda, Surat, Ahmedabad, Anand, all these large economies which in themselves are very vibrant and rapidly growing, they all become one large economy. They all start reinforcing each other. All these big economic centers, they start adding to each other. That's the power of a high-speed railway network. That's what we should look at when we look at why our Prime Minister has put so much focus on creating this new technologies and developing this new corridors. So let's take Vande Bharat. Now from Kerala, if you take the example of Kerala, from Kasaragod to Trivandrum, there are 6 large cities which are coming in. Now all these 6 cities, they become one city. They become like one large economy. They start feeding into each other. Let's take the case of Bangalore to Chennai. Now Bangalore to Chennai, people are preferring Vande Bharat trains rather than going by a flight. And as we further improve the tracks, the time will further reduce. So that's the power which comes when a person can very conveniently sit in a train, continue to work on the laptop or enjoy a book, and very comfortably and safely reach the destination, do the work, and then come back to the train. So the way we are thinking is, going forward, many of these large transportation and economic hubs, they get connected by high-speed, high-frequency train services. For example, if you take the example of Chennai and Bangalore as the hubs, 2 large hubs, practically every hour there should be a train which takes you from one place to the other. Then you don't have to think of booking. Then you don't have to think of okay, what should I do? Your mind is clearly focused on the work that you do best. And let the transportation people take care of what they do best. That's the conceptual thinking that we are working on. And as to fulfill this concept, there are multiple elements. What are those elements? The first element is getting the right trains designed in India, manufactured in India, and for use in India today and for exporting tomorrow. So Vande Bharat train is a great example of that. The train is fully designed in India. It's a notch better than many other globally best trains on multiple parameters. On the parameter of noise in the train, sound in the train. Sound level is actually 100 times less than sound in an aeroplane. The vibration level, if you compare the best in the world, the vibration levels are lower than the best in the world. The acceleration is better than the bullet train. So that's the kind of thought process which has gone in designing this train. Second, making sure that the platforms are today world class, the stations are world class, because that's where the huge congregation of passengers happens, as it's like a spike for a particular few hours, there will be huge spike, then there will be a lull. So we have to design our stations in that way. Then making sure that the stations are connecting both sides of the city. Cities have grown beyond what they were 50 years back. All these things are getting implemented one by one. Today we are developing 1,300 stations to become world class. Very few months back, Honorable Prime Minister laid the foundation for 508 stations on one single day. I think that's a world record. 508 stations getting redeveloped, and out of that 300 plus are already showing good progress in the work today. Vande Bharat train manufacturing has now scaled up to a level where we are rolling out practically one train every week. In parallel, we have a large stock of old generation coaches, almost 40,000 of them. So we are creating a new concept. We haven't yet given it a name. We are creating a new concept where these old coaches can be refurbished to a level which is very good, very comfortable, very convenient, and they can then be run at a significantly higher speed with with better comfort, and they can also complete a coach as a life of 35 years. So we cannot throw them out. We need to use that asset which has been created using public money. So we are creating that concept also. The first part of that concept is already developed, two push-pull locomotives, which basically get fitted on both sides of the train, one on the front and one on the rear. So it becomes one complete train set. And we are working on the design for the coaches. Very soon we should have that design out. So in a sense, overall, making sure that passengers get good comfort, train journey is comfortable, and I can say with good level of confidence that the way our Prime Minister has focused on railway as a sector, and he is emotionally connected with it. Remember, a large part of his childhood, our Prime Minister spent on the railway platform. He is so connected with railway. I've personally gone to Vadnagar and seen the stall that he was running. He has that emotional connect, and he has that very clear focus on where our railway should be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. So he has given huge impetus and huge support in transforming the railways. And because of the support that he has given, we are able to set out, lay 5,000 kilometers of new tracks now, every year, 14 kilometers per day. Last year we did 5,200 kilometers of new tracks. That is more than the entire network of Switzerland. And one final point I would like to make, which is very important from our strategic thinking point of view. Today, our country does about 4,000 million ton of cargo. Out of that, railway does about 1,500 million tons. As we go forward by 2030, we'll be doing about 8,000 million tons of cargo. Imagine if this entire cargo were to be done on trucks using diesel. How much dependence will be there on Middle East and other countries for oil? But what our Prime Minister has thought through with a deep, long thinking is, first he electrified the railways. So today, by another, we'll practically become 100% electrified. So our dependence on diesel for railways is gone. Then adding more cargo carrying capacity to railways by laying new tracks, by manufacturing more locomotives, manufacturing more wagons. By this process, we can shift a large part of our cargo from road to rail. And by shifting that large part of cargo from road to rail, in effect, what we are achieving is energy independence. That's the big strategic thought with which our government is working. Our Prime Minister is guiding us. And that's the direction in which we are moving. By 2030, we would have shifted a large part of cargo close to certainly more than 3,000 million tons to rail, and by that process, in that process, we'll reduce our dependence on oil, imported oil, to a significant level. So it's a very huge strategic thinking, large part, multiple pieces in the entire puzzle, where all the pieces are today working in one good harmonious way for changing the passenger experience and shifting cargo to rail.